Welcome to the Smooth Force Fitness Podcast. I am Lamar, your host, and I have the honor to introduce Asharee to the podcast. How you doing, Asharee?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I appreciate you being on this podcast. Um,
Thanks for having
we,
me. I appreciate that.
yeah, definitely. You actually gonna be the first. I know you're a fitness enthusiast and fitness model. Okay, so you're actually the first. You're actually the first, yes, and pretty exciting to have enthusiast and a model on this podcast.
A
So
model.
let me
Wow.
yeah, I see your photos. I see your photos. So those look like you have a photographer behind you somewhere, just taking these pictures away. So
You know what's
you
crazy?
know,
And I don't. That's so funny.
you,
I don't, but I am very photogenic. That's for sure. So
there we go,
I
there we go,
appreciate that.
there we go. I like it. I like it. So talking about photos, okay. I saw a great before and after photo of you, and on the left side, the before side, attractive, but looked like you had a little weight on you. Okay, you got a little weight on you, but still attractive. And then on the right side was that fitness model appearance, that fitness model look. Okay, so my question is, what what helped you make that transformation? Like, how long did it take? What was your motivation just to go from the before where you look nice, but then to the after where you look like, yeah, I'm a model now. What was that?
So my fitness journey actually started during the height of the pandemic when we were all in lockdown mode.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I actually never used to work out like that before. I remember one specific reason why I started working out. It was in high school, and it was for prom, senior prom.
Okay.
And I
Mm-hmm.
had my dress custom made.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
like, I want a
Yeah.
custom
Yeah.
made dress because I don't want nobody to have my dress on.
Yeah.
Um, so as a result of that, I remember my second to last fitting that I had, and she was like, "Honey, honey," she was this nice little old like Spanish woman, sweet lady.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Her English was a little limited, but she was like, "Honey, honey, you gained too much weight," and so she had to like readjust the zipper on the back, and I was so embarrassed because I'm like, "What
Oh
the heck?"
wow.
So I actually
Yeah.
started doing Zumba classes with my mom.
Okay. Okay.
And I did that. So I think I had at least a month and maybe some change before prom, and before
Okay.
that very final fitting that I had. And I remember doing
Okay.
some Zumba classes with my mom, and that kind of was like my introduction to just sort of
Mm.
fitness on a whole. And so this was back
Nice.
in high school. And then
Nice.
I continued with it. I didn't lose as much weight, but it did help. It did help, and I did eat a little differently. Probably not
Okay.
the right way. I think I kind of semi-starved myself. But knowing now, knowing what I know now about nutrition and how it works, it's a whole different ballgame for me. But that's pretty much how it started back in high school. And so,
Okay.
flash forward to the pandemic now when we're all in lockdown and gyms were shut down and everything. I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
got to do something. I'm just sitting here eating my life away. I was
Yeah.
like, I am
Yeah. A lot
gaining
of
weight.
people were.
I could see it in my face. Like, it was starting to show
Okay.
heavy. So I
Yeah.
was scrolling through Instagram actually, and I saw Angela Simmons. You know Angela Simmons, Russell Simmons' daughter.
Oh yes. Yes.
Yeah,
I
so
do.
I follow her on Instagram, and she actually was doing a live session, a live like a Instagram live with a fitness
Okay.
trainer who was based in New York, called
Mm.
IMPRX.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so in the beginning of the live, they were asking people to join in and do it. It was sort of like a hit workout in her home,
Mm.
no
Okay.
equipment. Actually, they were telling you how to you can like modify and use different equipments. One of them was like a broomstick and how you can utilize that, or like pick up
Nice.
like water and use those as weights.
Nice.
So I
Nice.
was like, oh, okay. And she looked amazing. So she'd been working with this particular trainer, IMPRX, I think she said over the course of a year and a half. And her transformation for her body was just amazing.
Mm.
If you don't
Nice.
know or follow her on Instagram, definitely look and see what I'm talking about. But her body
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
just
That. Yeah.
amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Nice.
actually, I was like, I got to know who this trainer is because when I saw the live session, it was actually very good. And so I started following IMPRX for a while. And then he actually started a 14-day fitness challenge. And I was like, what's this 14 fitness day challenge about? So it included like a meal plan, like access to an exclusive like Facebook group, which is like a community. They also had like an
Okay.
Instagram page and all that. So I was like, okay, let me see what this is about. So I actually joined the
Mm.
challenge and I committed myself to it. They had a nutrition
Good.
who came on board and talked to us about the proper ways to eating and looking at nutrition labels and all that before the actual challenge started. And they also emphasized the fact about like taking pictures, like before and after pictures, and tracking your
Yes.
progress every step of the way, even weighing myself and like knowing my measurements and all that. I did all of that in the beginning of the challenge. And
Okay.
then
Okay.
I committed myself. I committed myself to the challenge. I just went in there not knowing what to really expect. I'm like, let me try this and
Mm.
see what it does.
Mm.
After the
Mm.
14 days, I was like, what? Who is this woman?
Nice.
My
Nice.
body has changed so much. So so it's HIIT workouts, 3 workouts a day for the 14
Okay.
days. It's
Okay.
intense. It's
Mm-hmm.
intense. But when I tell you, it was legit. Like my body went from, so I started, my starting weight I think was 185, maybe 190 pounds. And I'm only
Okay.
what, I'm 5'4", 5'3",
Okay.
5'4".
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
190, 5'4". And then by the end of the challenge, no word of a lie, I dropped to, I think it was maybe one, I
Nice.
think it was
Nice.
155.
Nice.
So I lost a
Nice.
tremendous amount of weight. And the key
Mm-hmm.
to all of it was nutrition. I followed
That's
that
big.
nutrition plan that they provided us to the T. They didn't have us use
Okay.
do any dairy. No, it was no dairy, and I remember like no sugar. Those were the two
Okay.
things, and
Okay.
sodium as well. So
Okay.
those were like
Okay.
the things that they were telling you to cut back on. And I for the 14 for them days, I stuck to the plan. Everything that they provide, I think it was 5 meals a day. Of course, it was high in protein as well, and it was low in fat. And what else? I think that's what it was. And I lost a lot of weight. And I was like, yo, this is legit. And then so after the 14-day challenge, and he had little mini weekly challenges that focused on
Mm-hmm.
different body parts. It was like
Mm-hmm.
one week it was abs, another week it was like upper body, another week it was like, I don't know, some type of strength training class. So I continued with PRX for the course of maybe 2.5, 3 years. So the pictures
Nice.
that you're
Nice.
mentioning that you
Nice.
saw with the left and the right, so that left was
Okay.
before I started my fitness journey. And then it was like,
Nice.
I think a year and a half into PRX was a picture on the right.
So so
So
so yeah, roughly from what one high 80s, 190 to about 140s, 150.
yeah, yeah.
That's a nice drop.
It
That's
was
a
quick,
nice
and
drop.
it's crazy because a lot of people was like, that's couldn't be safe because you lost that amount of weight in that a little bit amount of time, like that couldn't be safe. And I kept questioning it. I was like, is that normal? It's probably not normal to probably drop this amount of weight in that short period of time. And so I did
Mm.
question that a little bit, and people's concern about that. And I did actually lose more weight in the process. I think I ended up dropping down to at least maybe 138,
Okay.
139. And then that's what my
Okay.
mom was like, nah, you look like you need to be in them feed the kids commercials. I was she was like, nah,
Uh-oh.
she was
Uh-oh.
like, you were getting too skinny. To the point where she had asked one of my friends, was like, is Ash good? Like, is she going through something?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is
Mm-hmm.
something going on? Like, do we need to like do an intervention? So it got to the point
Yeah.
where like family and friends were concerned because of how
Oh
much
wow.
weight I lost in the process.
Wow.
Because it was it was a significant change.
It was. It
Significant
was.
change, yeah.
So let me ask you this then. Now, and I did hear that if you drop weight too fast, it can create kidney stones, and there's some side effects of dropping weight too fast. It
Exactly.
can affect your energy and so on. But you actually did it. So how did you feel?
I felt great. When I
Good,
was
good.
doing that, I felt like it was the most energy I've ever had, which was crazy. And I would just like go, go, go. Like my energy level, and especially sleeping, I used to have trouble
Hmm.
sleeping. Oh,
Okay,
after I slept, oof, I felt energized. Like I slept like a baby. Like it
good.
took nothing for me to go to sleep now. So I noticed that better sleeping, even just use my bowel movement as well, changed
Hmm.
significantly. Because part of the nutrition plan was definitely eating more leafy greens, which I never used to do. And I
Yes,
also make
yeah,
an effort now to include some type of greens in actually every meal that I consume. I try to
yes,
incorporate greens, and I noticed that my bowel
yes,
movement definitely changed. So in
yeah.
actuality, it helped me, which is crazy because, like you said, I've heard you know, stories, especially from doctors as well, about, you know, significant weight loss and how that can affect your body. So that was definitely
Hmm.
something that was top of mind for sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I definitely hear what you're saying, but the key is how you feel, and you mentioned that you feel good. So
Yeah.
if you feel good, I kind of want to say no harm, no foul. I'm not a doctor, but I kind of want to say no harm, no foul. I recently did a fast. It was a 5 day fast. I've been meaning to talk really more about it, and
Oh,
5 days no food, like zero food, only tea, coffee, vegetable broth, and water.
wow.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and kind of similar to what you were saying was my energy. Well, after in the morning when I got up from a full night's rest, my energy was just phenomenal. I just felt good throughout the day. It kind of changed, but without just initially waking up, I felt good. My body felt good. Uh, so that's something I want to talk about a little bit more later. Uh,
Yeah.
that's another topic. But what, if any, struggles did you endure during your body transformation? Because I know you mentioned you doing hit high intensity interval training, and you
Hmm.
was doing watching your diet, cutting out dairy and sugar. Now,
Hmm.
between those two, the training and the diet, both of them are important. Both of them are very important. One is probably a little more important than the other. But in general, what was any struggle? Like what was the hardest thing to just to stay committed to?
Definitely the diet, because for those who don't know,
Yeah.
I'm of Jamaican descent. So I'm used to my Jamaican food, my oxtail, my curry chicken, and all
Okay.
the my
Okay.
Jamaican beef patty, and all
Mm-hmm.
those foods that I
Delicious,
enjoy.
delicious foods.
Listen, okay. Listen, I would eat me
Mm-hmm.
some curry chicken
Delicious
right now,
foods.
all right, with some rice and beans.
Yes.
Stop playing. But no, but all those foods loaded
Mm-hmm.
with salt,
Yeah.
loaded.
Yeah.
And for those who are
Yes.
Jamaican and know about Grace seasoning, we love us some
Mm-hmm.
Grace seasoning.
Mm-hmm.
But if you
Yes.
turn that
Yes.
little
Yes.
bad boy around and look at the label of
Mm-hmm.
that, you would be shocked as
Yeah.
to how much sodium is in that
That is
thing.
true. That is true.
And
That's
I went through my mother's thing and was looking at all the seasoning that she used. And I'm like, oh my God, all this time we've been eating this much sodium in our stuff. And she would add more salt. Not only
oh
was
wow.
the great
Yeah.
seasoning she was using, she was adding additional salt. I was like,
Oh
oh,
wow.
yeah, the food tastes
Yeah.
bomb and good,
It
but like
does.
it was crazy. Diet was crazy.
And
So
that's hard to
once
get off of.
it's hard, it's hard. So
Yeah.
once I did that and come to terms that
Mm-hmm.
I had to just step away,
Mm-hmm.
that was hard. That was hard because
Good,
I
good,
grew up
good. Yeah.
eating Jamaican food, and that was my life. And then on top of that, it was like
Mm-hmm.
big plates of food, right? Because you know, if you go to a Caribbean house, any Caribbean household, and they invite you over, you got to eat. You got to
You
eat,
have
and it's
to.
big plates of
You
food, big
have
a
to.
lot of rice, a lot of starch, all that stuff.
Very true.
Um,
Definitely a lot of rice. Definitely a lot of rice. Yes.
Definitely a lot of rice, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the rice
Mm-hmm.
too. Let's not get in, they eat coconut milk, everything you could think of that go in rice. That's what makes the rice so flavorful. But a lot of stuff
Definitely
that
true.
was put in there, I was like, all right, this is actually creating more harm than good. So once I took a step away from that, it was the hardest part for me. But then
Mm-hmm.
when I realized, once I started changing my diet, how my body, I think I almost was having like withdrawals almost. Like my body was fighting. Like you could tell my body was going through it. That was the biggest struggle for me
Mm-hmm.
until my body finally adjusted and became more accustomed to just eating more healthier. But definitely energy level was different. Again, sleep was different. Just like my skin was just glowing. Everybody now was like, "Wow, your
Good.
skin, duh, it's just," and that was all a result
Good.
of just eating differently. You know what I mean? I got so
Yes.
many
Yeah.
compliments like, "Where? Why are people telling me my skin's glowing? Like, what's going? Like, what? My skin was always glowing.
Yes.
Like, no, but it was a different type of glow, and it was interesting
Different
people
next
noticing it.
level.
So, um, next level,
I
yeah. So
believe it.
that was the biggest thing. Thank you. But yeah, so that was like the
Yeah.
biggest thing for me was the nutrition part. And then on top of just even the
Yeah.
working out, like I said, part of the working out was working out 3 times a day with the PRX program that I was doing. And that became
Mm-hmm.
taxing on my body. And what I wasn't doing was stretching. I wasn't stretching before or after my workouts, and I realized the impact that had on my body, especially with my
Mm-hmm.
range of motion. That was shot. So once I started incorporating stretching, it was a game changer. Now I don't even do my workout without stretching. That's priority. Like I have to stretch before, if not
S-
after. So I
Stretching is
highly,
very
highly
important.
recommend when you're starting out
Mm-hmm.
on any type of fitness journey to make sure stretching is top priority. A lot of people don't really talk about that, but a lot of people actually, you know what's funny? Instagram now I hear is starting to focus more a lot about recovery as well, which is good. But at
Mm-hmm.
one point, that was never talked about recovery. That was never the thing. And even listening to your body and taking those necessary breaks that you need, because I was just like going, going, going. Because once I saw my
Mm-hmm.
results, I was like, this is addictive. I just wanted to see how my body's going to
Yes.
change again. So I was just like caught
Yes.
up in the moment without
Yes.
taking a step back and actually listening to my
Okay.
body and what it needed.
Yes.
So, but yeah, fitness is fun, but like
Nice.
it can,
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It's
it's
like
a
the
lot.
results. The results. Once you reach those results, it's phenomenal. It feels great. You
Yes.
look great. You get the attention and that not even it's not even for superficial reasons. But if you train hard and if you
Mhm.
dedicate yourself to something, why not appreciate the somewhat superficial results from it? So if
Exactly.
yeah, so if you dedicated yourself to not eat junk food for an entire month and I go to the gym 3, 4, 5 days a week, although you didn't want to half of those times, and the result of that is physique A, okay,
Yeah.
is whatever physique you're at. Be proud of that, and it's okay to be a little bit superficial, not to be like someone you don't want to be around. But I kind of understand just being proud of the hard work, the dedication, and everything you did to obtain those results. So
Yep.
yes, I think
Absolutely.
that's great. And a different topic that I kind of want to get on to is I noticed that traditionally women, and I know that you are you spoke about the high intensity training and you do there's a lot of stuff that you do, but I saw you lifting some pretty good weight, and I noticed that traditionally women steer towards sumo deadlifts while guys kind of stay with traditional deadlifts. Okay. Uh, if you agree with that, can you tell me, or why do you think that is, and what method do you use?
Yeah. So I actually started uh, really weightlifting, I want to say probably about a year ago. And I actually
Okay.
got a trainer to sort of help me
Okay.
with that department because the gym
Okay.
was a scary place for me when I first started.
Yes.
So to
Okay.
backtrack, I was actually doing the PRX high intensity workouts at home,
Mm-hmm.
as again, because that was during I had a pandemic. So I got
Okay.
used to and
Okay.
accustomed to doing at home workouts to the point that I had
Nice.
built sort of like an in home gym almost. And
Oh, nice.
each
Nice.
month or so, I would increase my weights. Like I think I started off with like 5 pound dumbbells. And now
Okay.
I have up to, I think, 60, 65 pound dumbbells in my
Oh,
gym.
very nice.
Um,
Very nice.
yeah. So when I actually started going back to the gym, it was scary because I was like, I don't know how to use these machines. Like, how does this work? How does this work? So I actually got a trainer to actually help me. And then I started doing the whole weightlifting thing. So
Okay.
I really appreciate sumo deadlifts because at that point I was focusing more on developing my glutes. Um,
Okay. Okay.
and I found that sumo deadlift was definitely very helpful in that department. And I actually followed a couple of friends who are trainers, and they
Okay.
did
Okay.
emphasize that if you want to build your glutes specifically, that sumo deadlifts was sort of the way to go. And I realized that that helped me tremendously because when I started doing that, I want to say maybe about 4 or 5 weeks in, I did notice differences in just how things were shaping up back there. So that's why I
Good.
enjoy sumo deadlift, but I also I do a little mix of both as well. I always try to incorporate different types of deadlifts movements into my workout for sure. And I
Good.
always change my plan. Like I'll start off with a plan and then go for like maybe 2 3 months, and then I switch my plan
Nice.
accordingly. So I don't
Nice.
stick with the same sort of movements over and over again.
That's the way to do it. That's the best way of doing
Yeah.
it is just combination of both. As you mentioned, sumo focuses more on the glutes, more on the
Hmm.
legs.
Hmm.
Conventional works more on like the back. It works the legs, the glutes, and a little more on back. So basically, the difference
Little
is
more, but yeah.
yeah, little the conventional is a little harder on the back than the sumo. And the sumo really, hits the glutes, hits the legs. So,
Right.
that's ideal.
Right.
I recently learned I used to think there's only traditional and sumo, but there's narrow stance sumo,
Yes.
which
There's
looks
different.
like
Yes.
sumo, but it's just a little bit in more. Some people call it froggy sumo or something like that. I guess it's just people just coining
Yeah.
different names for where the toes are really out. You're not as wide as sumo. You're a little closer, and the legs are out. There's actually probably a few different names
There's
for it.
so many different variations. Yeah. Yeah. For
There
sure.
are there are, but I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Unless you're lifting a whole lot of weight, I'm not sure how I feel about guys doing sumo. I'll be honest with you. I'm not really sure how I feel
Why?
about it. I just feel
Why?
like the traditional deadlift is just there's something about it that I enjoy so much. And how about this? Let me relate it to this. If I see a vehicle, okay, and this is
Hmm.
this is a little bit strange. If I see a vehicle, the sex of the individual I see driving it first sometimes puts a thought in my head that that vehicle there is best seen with this person or this person. And this is
Okay.
like a real crazy. So I'll give you an example. I saw a Lexus SUV. Okay. And I saw a lady driving a Lexus SUV. And for
Okay.
some reason, I'm like, a Lexus SUV is a great female for a lady. Not to talk negative about Lexus or a SUV or anything. It's just the first person I saw in it was a lady female driver. So I kind of somehow maybe I related that to guys doing conventional and women doing sumo. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's probably not a fair comparison.
That's hilarious.
But that's what I saw. But in reality, in all seriousness, if you speak to a lot of males who are
Yeah.
deadlifters, they
Hmm.
will kind of agree with me to some degree that because just because it's a little bit easier, and not to
Yeah.
say it's bad, it's phenomenal. It's still
Right.
great. If you're lifting, you're lifting. If
It
if
is
I don't
easier.
matter,
Yeah.
it because the range of motion is a little bit shorter, and I guess
And
maybe it's
that's
an
why
ego in
and
us.
that's why sumo deadlifts get a lot of heat because it's easier.
That
So you're
that's
like, you're not really doing anything,
but
right?
well, no, you still doing. I mean, and
You're
I
still
still
doing
respect it. I still
right,
respect sumo. Trust me.
right,
I see. And male, female. If you want to do sumo, go ahead, do your thing. It's all
right,
good. I'm not
right,
gonna make fun of you. Maybe I will make
right,
fun of you, but don't worry about what I think. Just do what works for you. But
right.
it is good. It is good. As long as
Yeah.
you're training, go ahead, do your thing. I respect it. Um, definitely respect it.
Hmm.
Now, what would you say to give me a piece of motivation that you would kind of say to someone who's trying to get fit, who may have put on a little weight and they want to drop it, get into shape, feel better about themselves, just feel healthier. What would you say to that person?
Just start. Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm still
Mm-hmm.
learning about my body. You know
Okay.
what I mean? I'm still
Okay.
going through
Okay.
like an uphill battle, roller coaster ride, whatever you want to call
Mm.
it. But you just have to
Okay.
start. Take simple steps, even if it's
That's
just
good.
walking a mile. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
And then challenging
Yes.
yourself. Maybe the following month or whatever increments you want to set it. Walk 2 miles, walk 3 miles, maybe a light jog, and just kind of kick it up each time and challenge yourself a little bit more each time. Start there.
Yes.
Or it could be simple little small steps you do in changing your nutrition. One thing that was big
Yes.
for me was starting to read nutrition labels and just understanding that, right? Understanding how to read the nutrition label. A lot of people don't know that in the ingredients list, usually the first thing that's listed, it's what contains. There's more of that in that item, and
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
was shocking to me because I didn't realize that. So
Yeah.
even just getting
Yeah.
educated on just like reading nutrition labels and just being more mindful of what you're picking up and putting in your mouth, I think is definitely key. So the big thing for me was cutting out dairy, and it might not be as drastic like what I did and cut out dairy altogether, but maybe removing instead of like a regular milk, maybe try doing like almond milk or switching up your milk. Start there,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then eventually like trying to get rid of dairy. It'll try to eliminate from your diet because if you really want the
Okay.
core, right?
Hmm.
Dairy plays a big part in like developing your ab area. And I know a lot of women
Yes.
now, they're trying to, and get the abs all nice and tight and all that. So for me, what worked in the core area was specifically was dairy and keeping the sugar intake very limited and added
Right.
sugar.
Right.
Try to avoid anything with added sugar. So that's why
Yes.
really
Yes.
educating yourself on nutrition labels is key. But it's just those are the small, simple steps. Even incorporating more water into your diet. Water
Very
is a
big.
huge part
It
into
is.
fitness. I never drank the amount of water that I do now, and I realized the
Hmm.
impact that it has on my body. There was a scare that I had prior to my fitness journey. I forgot what it was. I think I remember being sick and I was rushed to the emergency room, and the first thing they told me that I was severely dehydrated,
Oh
and
wow.
so they had to
Wow.
immediately start pumping me with liquid. But I say that to say that definitely water is very, very important. So even be more mindful in that sense and start drinking more water. I wish I had the bottle to show you guys, but there's a bottle that I had bought on Amazon. Um, I think it was like a gallon size, but there's different sizes you can get, and it has little
Okay.
inspirational quotes on it. Like,
Yes. Yes.
start it, and I think it even has a time frame too. Like it starts at 9 or
Yeah.
whatever and goes all the way up to like 10 p.m. And it just tells you
Yes.
that, like keep going. You got to drink more. And that was actually helpful for me when I started my fitness journey. I got one of those bottles and I literally brought it everywhere I went,
Good.
even to work. And I even inspired other people. You'd be surprised how you're inspiring even other people around you. Because I remember bringing that bottle to work and one of my coworkers asked about it. And then she ended up getting one. So then we ended up doing
Good.
like a little water group in the office. And that was fun
Hmm.
too.
Good.
Um,
Good. Good.
so like little small things like that is so instrumental. And then even just doing that, then you'll notice that that kind of will propel you because you'll see differences for sure. That will propel you to want to just continue on. But you're gonna
Hmm.
have those thoughts, right? Try to stay out your head because you're gonna have those thoughts like, oh, I'm not losing the weight. You're looking at the scale and you're like, why isn't the scale not going down? It's not. Listen, I had to throw away my scale. I stopped using scales now. I did.
Hmm.
I couldn't use a scale anymore because that was really depressing for me. Because I'm like, the scale was
Hmm.
really. I was like, this scale is stuck. It's broken. It's not working. But then my clothes was fitting different, right?
Yes.
I was losing inches around my waist that I wasn't accounting for. My clothes was fitting
Hmm.
differently. I had to like
Hmm.
buy new clothes the other day because everything was just
Good.
loose now. So let that
Good.
be an indicator too, not just about the scale and a number on the
Hmm.
scale, but just like how you feeling and just how even you're looking. Like I said, my skin started to change and started glowing more, like
Good.
things like that.
Good.
Look at and not focus on the numbers. Trust me, that will help you in the long run when starting your journey. You'll see the impact of that.
Yeah.
Also, forget about what other people are saying around you. Focus on you.
Okay.
Part of my journey, as I was going through it, like you hear the people saying, "Oh, you're getting too skinny," or "Oh, you're lifting heavy. You're gonna be bulky, and you're gonna look like a man." And that's a big thing now in the fitness world. I hear a lot of people saying that, "Oh, woman, you're gonna be bulky and this and that." No, no, that's not the case. The only way you look bulky and look like a bodybuilder, you have to eat a certain type of way, right? Bodybuilders are trained differently. In fact, that because their whole meal plan and everything is surrounded, and the supplements that they take is all geared towards them looking that way. That's not the
Hmm.
look I'm going for. I'm just eating according to what my fitness goals are, and then eating that way. So
Yeah,
just start.
definitely.
At the end of the day, just
That
start. Just
I
start.
like that. Just start. I like it. Well said.
Yeah,
Just start. Just
just
start.
start.
Get day one in the books, and then just
That's it.
continue after
And
there.
just continue
You
on.
know,
Yeah.
I like that. And mentioning like the bodybuilder physique. Um,
Yeah.
I wrote here this. I wrote down how I described your physique in the before in the after picture,
Yeah.
and I wrote smaller, well defined, and tastefully muscular. That's how I described you in it.
I like that.
And yes, and tastefully muscular is I love when women lift weights, but if you see a female who is probably, maybe you can say, overly muscular, like extremely muscular, there's a good chance it's not just what she's eating or how she's
Exactly.
training. There's a good chance
Correct.
she's using, enhancements to get it
Correct.
to that level. So
Correct.
ladies, you don't have to worry about looking like a man
No.
just from
Stop.
hitting the
Stop doing
gym.
that.
It's not gonna
Stop
happen.
thinking that
If
way.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, please stop thinking. If you're doing everything naturally, that should not be an issue. And once you get that physique that you obtained, how does it feel knowing that every time you put on a bathing suit or every time you put on that nice evening gown, that you have all the eyes admiring you and just, admiring the hard work and the dedication you put into yourself to obtain that physique? How does that make you feel?
uh, it feels amazing. The
Yeah.
confidence level is at an all-time
Yes.
high. Um,
Yes.
just knowing that I went from wearing one piece and was worried about how it was fitting me to now wearing two piece and bikinis and thong bikinis.
Nice.
I'm like, who
Yeah.
is this girl? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's
Yeah.
not something I ever would have envisioned me in. So now that I'm able to wear that, I feel great. I feel amazing when I step
Good.
out and it shows. I walk into a room and people feel
Good.
like, oh, she's confident. And I've heard that from other people. It's like when you step in the room, it's like you command attention without even like
Yes.
trying to command attention. It's just the presence and just I just how I present myself because I know I feel good and I've worked so hard and I put in the
Yes.
work. I'm showing it off, so it feels amazing. It really does. And what woman
That's
doesn't want to feel
that,
great and confident? You know what I mean? Especially in what they
you're
wear.
right.
And it's not
Yes.
even seeking validation. It's more so doing it for me. Like again, like I said, it's a two-piece bathing suits is not something that I typically would buy in the past. But I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
why
Mm-hmm.
not? You know what I mean? I'm not to say that bigger girls can't wear two-piece anyways. You wear whatever you want, whatever makes you feel confident, whatever makes you feel comfortable, and what pleases
Okay.
you. But
Mm-hmm.
no, it feels great. It feels great.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. You train hard to get your physique to the point that it's at. Why not be proud of it?
Yeah.
Why not, show it off? So I'm with you. I'm definitely with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
Ash, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. I like the tip that you gave for the folks who want to get into it, who want to get into fitness, to just start. Just
Just
start.
start. Just do
Yeah,
it. Don't even think about it. Just start.
just do it. Find yourself a
Mm-hmm.
gym or do
Yep.
something at home or go
Yeah.
to a park or walk to the
Mm-hmm.
store or
Mm-hmm.
just do something just for that start and let it
Yeah.
let it just let it continue. And it's the age
Actually,
of
a
the
good tip,
internet.
yeah, actually about walking to the car. A good tip actually that I heard recently,
Okay.
was whenever you go, like if you're going to the grocery store, grocery shopping, park far away or park a good distance away and walk.
Yes.
Sometimes we tend to park closer
Yes.
to the entrance, right? To be in and
Mm-hmm.
out. But mindfully park farther away and walk. And that's a good way too. That's a
Yes.
small step that you can make
Yes.
anytime
Yes.
you go out somewhere.
It all that stuff comes together, all that stuff helps.
Yeah.
Do it all, and
Yeah.
you will see the results. You will definitely see
Absolutely.
the results.
Yeah.
Now, how could someone contact you? They wanted to, look at your page or just ask you a question or so on. How could they contact you?
Yeah, so I actually exclusively started a fitness page once I started my journey 3 years ago. So it's called Body by Ash. So people
Okay.
can follow me there on Instagram. I do have a
Mm-hmm.
personal page, but more so fitness related and nutrition, or best way to contact me will be Body by Ash 617.
But
Body by Ash 617. Yep.
Body by Ash 617. Everyone,
Body
you
by
heard
Ash
it right here. Go to you said Body by Ash.
617. Yep.
There we go. So everyone, go check it out. Uh, let's get in the gym. Let's train. Let's do our thing. Let's become healthier versions of ourselves and enjoy life. Ash, thank you again for being on the podcast, and we'll definitely speak.